So before I start, don't worry, this is your weekly dose of Warframe content. But let me just change the topic really quick. Do any of you play Smash? If so, holy sh**, that Nintendo Direct, right? I was actually going to write this intro script quite a bit differently since I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, but then Nintendo goes and drops this bombshell, and suddenly this video is now slightly relevant. And hey, I can't complain! I mean, Warframe hasn't been giving me much to work with so far this year, and the year of cosmetics continues ever onward, which is as exciting to talk about as my fucking carpet. So, with the new Smash on the horizon, you can bet your bottom dollar that there's gonna be a lot of speculation and fake leaks. But, under all the hype, we cannot forget or forgive a grave crime that occurred with Smash 4. Due to technical limitations with the 3DS, a certain character was dropped entirely from the game. A character whose playstyle could not be found in any other character. A character that had been around since the second iteration of Smash Bros. A character who struck fear into the hearts of anyone who still plays Melee. Jesus Christ, how old is that game? I am, of course, referring to the Ice Climbers. As many of you probably know by this point, the duo was japed out of their rightful spot in Smash 4. And while it's almost guaranteed that they'll be in this new iteration, the world holds no absolutes. So just in case they miss out, they deserve to be represented in some form or another, so that we may never forget the transgression of Smash 4. With that said, allow me to introduce you all to Ice Climbers 2.0. Yeah, so if you didn't know, Equinox has access to an augment that lets her split her other half into an AI-controlled summon. Not only does it adopt the opposite form to you, but it also adopts your weapons and mods. And thus, we can bring the Ice Climbers back from the dead. Now I know what you're thinking. Triburos, these aren't the Ice Climbers at all! They're not mimicking each other, they're not together forever! They can't wobble you into a pit of despair and hopelessness! And yeah, of course! They're all grown up now. Look, Nana and Popo obviously aren't going to be glued together for the rest of time. They all have separate lives to live. They both want to differentiate themselves. But that doesn't mean they can't be a dynamic duo anymore. And I am going to prove it. You know, some people might call my partner intelligently challenged, but let me tell you, they co-op with me a hell of a lot more than any pub teammate I could ask for. Look at this, look. Did you see that teamwork? They went in to block and distract while I came up and splattered this fuck against the floor. You can't ask for a better partner if you ask me. You know the term, my better half, right? Well, here it's quite literal. My partner might not always be the brightest, but let me tell you, a 500% damage increase to their hammer more than makes up for it. Mind if I go on a small rant? Hopefully not, because I can't exactly see into the future for your answers. I'm no boy. Anyways, why is it that Equinox is the best summoner frame in the game? Frames like Necros, sure, they have their shadows, but they do jack fucking all! Same applied to Nyx. And yet here comes Equinox and her clone of Mass Destruction, who can be given a hammer and go ham over any enemy she happens to wander into. With devastating results, to say the least. You know, by this point I'm pretty content in calling this iteration of the Climbers a much better one than the one in Smash Brawl. And I know some of you might look at me and say, hey, you fucking stupid? Understandable. But could you play as Nana in Brawl? Huh. You know, this is probably the closest that we'll be able to get to the ability to wobble. And I'm surprisingly okay with that. Also, 10 bucks says you can probably upload this to a certain corn site and get millions of clicks from the title choice alone. D, what are you doing? Why would you let the clone duplicate your weapon and mod loadout, but not let the clone have the ability to emote alongside you? How could you do this? It'll never not be funny to just see the Spectre gently float off into the ether after it expires. Speaking of which, Nana! One of my favorite torture methods when it comes to exploiting the souls of Grineer that I send to the Simulacrum Afterlife involves equipping Guardian this mod and then spamming block to break its fucking brain. It can't decide what to do, it has no idea. And good old Nana is just pounding away from behind. This game is pretty okay sometimes, I have to admit. Speaking of, what I said before, that the clone duplicates your weapon and mod loadout, I'm pretty sure it will use any mod. Throw Guardian this mod on your melee, and whenever your partner blocks, and trust me, they do it a lot, you got yourself a minor, random, unreliable decoy. Worth the mod slot if you ask me. You know, now that I think about it, I wonder what would happen if I gave this hyperactive child with its 10-second attention span and even shorter lifespan my Zaw polearm. Breaking the ice climber's breaking the ice climber's motif for a second, because when the hell else am I gonna show this off? This here is your Magunder, and let me tell you, given the Riven that I got, that is an appropriate name because this thing can reach across the goddamn universe. Let's see what happens when we give it to the duo. What? Well, it's the effort that counts! Honestly, this video could go on longer, but there's not much left to talk about. At the end of the day, the Ice Climbers will always exist in our hearts, regardless of any potential curveballs that Sakurai decides to throw our way. They live on, bashing in the face of many a corpus and getting stuck on walls. Like a true Tenno. And that is the Ice Climbers experience.